What's up, guys, and welcome back to Tri-Time Podcast. I'm Matt, and you join me this week as we discuss the top 5 coaches in, Super League, England. We'll see how it works out. For all this, we've taken into account both the performances of the coach in recent seasons, but also their longer-term success and impact on the sport. I have only included coaches who are currently coaching in some capacity at the time of recording, being, of course, as I'm recording this, May, as you're seeing, is June 2024. This is also based on achievements largely in England. So, for example, Hull FC have just appointed a new coach who has history in Australia. That's not really being considered because he's yet to make an impact in Super League. So, without further ado, caveats aside, let's jump straight into the top 5, and it is Hull KR's Willie Peters. Now, why have I put Willie in the top 5? Well, for a start, longevity. Despite only being there a couple of seasons, he's probably one of Super League's longer-serving coaches at this stage. And it's hard to say that Hull KR haven't improved under his stewardship. A Wembley final last year, which, yes, they ultimately did lose, but a real sign of grit and determination to get there. They're one of the few teams that's actually managed to beat the all-conquering Wigan side of last season, and just generally are a really tough team to play with really smart recruitment. Peters built something at KR and really taken them a level forward from when Tony Smith departed, and for that I think that's worthy of a spot in the top 5, albeit he's yet to win anything, and that's ultimately why I don't feel like I can place him much higher. One man who I have decided to place higher than him, at number 4 to be exact, is Paul Rowley. Now again, this is someone who probably misses out on the top 3 largely due to silverware, with, his Salford side not really challenging for the top silverware, even if actually they have punched above their weight. The day of days really come with a 2019 Grand Final appearance and backing that up in 2020 with the COVID Challenge Cup defeat to Leeds at Wembley. For Rowley, he has had success, of course, winning the championship with Lee, which potentially is the bit of silverware that does push him above Peters. But again, they made heavy weather of that despite being clear favourites. Where Rowley has excelled, though, is in his player development role. And a lot of people said when Ian Watson left Salford's head coach role to go to Huddersfield that they would crumble. However, it's almost been contrasting fortunes for the two teams. Salford have maintained this reputation of being the underdog that punches above their weight and really brings the best out of players. Huddersfield haven't shown that effect. You start to question whether it was Rowley's assistant coaching behind the scenes rather than Watson's head coaching that was what was driving these players forward at Salford and really getting them to punch above their weight. And that ultimately is something that I believe to be the case, and partly why he is in top 5 and 4th place for me. Jumping to top 3 now, and I've gone for the man who ironically beat Willie Peters' team at Wembley last year, and that is Adrian Lam of Lee. Now, why Adrian Lam? Well, like we say, he has won silverware, something that actually only a few Super League coaches at the moment can say. He also had a good stint at Wigan. I think he was largely unfairly dismissed, to be honest, at Wigan, particularly given he was only ever given the role with the view for Shaun Edwards to take over 12 months later. Obviously, Edwards backtracked. It was already a bit of a tenuous situation there, and ultimately Wigan decided to pay the price, I think somewhat unfairly. In terms of what else he achieved then, he obviously spent a lot of time at Lee and got them to their Super League promotion. And it was in Super League, in their first season in Super League, where he got the Challenge Cup final. And for a large part of the season, they looked real contenders. 5th in this league, they got to the playoffs, nobody expected it. And despite a rocky start, you can see the improvement in Lee, and they are looking more like the team of old now as they're getting players back. And I think this is a testament to this squad that Lam is building there. And actually, again, we come back to punching above their weight, especially when you look at what they were doing in their Centurions era. As the Leopards, things are really thriving, and that's in no small part to getting the right members of staff on board. Number 2, and again, someone else who has tasted success at this level, and it is the Wigan Warriors head coach, Matt Peat. The guy who's probably got the longest head coaching contract in the league at the moment, and it's very understandable to see why. He's not been in the job that long, since, 2021? 2? One of those two. I think it might be 2022. By the by, he has already won the Super League, ending St Helens' streak at the top. Now, let's face it, that in itself is a big accolade. And yes, he's got a fantastic squad around him, but he's won a World Club Challenge with Wigan. They are well on their way to challenging, potentially winning the league leaders this year, and are at Wembley competing for the Challenge Cup. You can say what you want about Wigan having this super team that's better than anything else in the league at the moment, but you have to have the right coach to bring the best out of all those players. St Helens won 4 in a row, and since Wellens has come in, okay, I wouldn't say they've dropped off, but you are seeing fans questioning whether he's good enough or whether he's the next Kieran Cunningham that flatters to deceive. And don't get me wrong, some of the Saints fans are spoilt. But let's compare that to Wigan, where nobody questions the coach. They are confident that they've got the right man for the job, and the results are backing it up. I think if we revisit this list again in a couple of seasons, well, half the people who are eligible will have changed, but also Matt Peat will have taken the top spot by then. It is just simply the lack of experience and the volume of silverware that keeps him off of top spot for the moment. So who's keeping him off top spot, I guess, is the last question to answer. In my opinion, the Super League best coach at the moment is not actually in a head coaching role at a Super League side. That being said, he's very much involved in Matt Peat's Wigan backroom staff, and he is the coach of the national team that have recently gone 3-0 against Tonga. I have still gone for Shaun Wane. Now, yes, he's not actually head coached a Super League side for a number of years now. In fact, I'm trying to think when it last was. Was it around 2018 maybe he left Wigan? But in that time, the honours speak for themselves. I mean, as a coach, 3 Super League wins, a League Leaders' Shield, 2 Challenge Cups and a World Club Challenge. He's guided England to a World Cup, which actually, okay, we didn't do as well as we should have done in. I think that was largely squad and picking the Wigan old boys rather than necessarily the best we had on the day. But we genuinely underperformed in that semi against Samoa and should have done better. We've bounced back though. Like we said, 3-0 against Tonga. The right signs are there. There's obviously still a bit of umming and ahhing over what we're actually going to play international-wise at the end of the season, if anything. However, I'm confident that if we have the squad to compete, we have the right coach to bring the best out of them. And you don't get to this position and that amount of trophy cabinets without, really having something about you. He is still, of course, technically involved in the Wigan setup, and okay, maybe it's a cop-out, but I'm taking it. Shaun Wane, the best coach in some capacity in England Super League. Word it however you want. That is my top 5. So have I missed anyone out? You guys let me know in the comments. If you have enjoyed this one or want to hear more of mine and Callum's sometimes good, sometimes questionable opinions, then of course hit the red button, subscribe, turn your notifications on and stick around. We are back on Wednesday with another main podcast, and we will of course have some other random thing on Saturday. I think Callum might be doing his top 10 of the next position in the league. I think what's he done so far? Second rows and loose forwards. Check those out if you haven't already. We're probably on to props, but I will let you see what's released next week. Until then, guys, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for the support. Goodbye.